So we'll move on to the NFL for the week. We'll go. We missed 2 rounds, I think, officially. Well, we previewed one round.
We've previewed one, but we've only got the results.
Yes.
We haven't got results from 2. We won't go through every single one. Too many games.
Oh, yeah, we'll be here all day.
Just let us know who played. We'll let you know if we needed to discuss it or not.
So week 15 and then week 16.
15
James?
and 16, yep. And I don't think we need to talk about the Thursday night game from 15.
No. So, Thursday night was the overtime game between LA Chargers and Las Vegas Raiders.
Yes.
We
talked about that.
Yep. So the Saturday game, we had Denver at home losing to Buffalo.
Yeah, got smoked.
48.
We watched this.
We watched this.
We were saying that the Broncos had a 5% chance. That's gone to 0%. Buffalo, you see, they've obviously won the AFC East. They got back in the middle of the night, and there was thousands of fans out there in the freezing cold cheering them on. They haven't won the AFC East in over 25 years, I'm pretty sure.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
Well, it's been dominated by the Patriots, of
Obviously,
course.
Well, there's only one team that's won it 19 out of the last 20.
Well, I think Josh Allen's broken all of Jim Carrey's records as well this season. So a lot of his, most yards, most touchdowns, etc.
Jim Carrey.
No, Jim Kelly.
I'm going to get my ears checked.
You did say Kerry. I heard Kerry.
Jim Kelly.
Jim Carrey does have a history in Buffalo. You know that Bruce Almighty movie? That's in Buffalo. I swear. Smite me, almighty smiter. Moving on.
Yes.
Moving on.
There's going. Keep going.
Yeah, we had Green Bay at home beating Carolina Panthers 24-16.
Yeah,
As expected.
Yeah, as expected.
Rodgers looking very good, and in the last 2 weeks, overtaken Mahomes in the
Yeah,
MVP
we'll
race.
talk about
that in a sec.
Yeah, we'll talk about Rodgers in a second.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So after that, we had Atlanta at home losing to Tampa Bay 27-31.
Yeah, expected.
Yep.
A little bit closer probably than expected.
A little bit.
Falcons gone. Bucks will be playing in the playoffs.
Yep. I'm happy with that.
They
can. I think they will have to go through there.
Well, we're going to have a good look at the playoff.
Yeah, the Saints
picture.
have clinched, so they I think should, but we'll have to check. Keep going.
So after that, we had Dallas at home beating out San Fran 41-33.
Dallas keeps their playoff hopes alive in the stinky NFC East.
Yep. After that, we had Tennessee at home smoking Detroit 46-25.
Expect
the king.
Yep. And then we had Indianapolis at home beating out Houston 27-20. After that, we had Miami at home beating out New England 22-12.
Yeah,
First year New England.
Yeah.
Yep.
That killed New England's hopes of even getting playoff kind of picture.
So
they
gone.
had some hopes, but they're gone now. So
That's
they can't. First time in
it's over 20 years.
Yeah,
because I know they've won that division 19 out of the last 20.
Yeah, and they finished 11-5 in that year. They didn't win it, but they still made the playoffs
with Matt Castle.
Yeah.
You keep going there. I'll just get the last time they missed the playoffs.
Yeah, well, just a snippet on this one. Did you see Belichick throwing a phone around on the sideline?
I did not. Obviously not.
So
what happened?
There was a call. I can't remember when the call was made, but they reviewed it. They challenged a call. Obviously, someone upstairs told Belichick to throw a red flag. Challenge got rejected, so lost the call, lost the timeout. And you're on the sideline. He was pegging the phone around.
With the wired up phone?
Yeah, the wired up phone, those boxes at the back of the sideline. Yeah. So probably,
Normally a very cool, calm, collected customer, but obviously very passionate as well.
Yeah, especially the way the season's been going to be very frustrating.
Very frustrating for
I'd
him.
assume being on the sideline there.
I'm glad I checked this because we would have been spreading some fake news. I've just mentioned about the Bucks, and there will be other teams that could possibly go 11-5 and miss the playoffs. That year, the Matt Castle year, back in 2008, 2009, they went 11-5, but they missed the playoffs. So the Dolphins finished first in that division with 11-5. And the Patriots missed the playoffs.
Oh, there you go.
I'd completely forgotten about that.
Yeah.
But I know for sure, because I've seen the stat many times, they've won the AFC East 19 out of the last 20 years.
Yeah, they've won it a lot.
Pretty much the Brady era, Brady Belichick era.
Yeah.
Yep.
So to finish up on New England, we'll probably, because we won't preview their game. Well, we'll preview their game. But I think Cam's going to start. but I'd probably, if it was me, I'd start Stidham.
Yeah, I'd go
Get ready for
Stidham.
next season.
This is your chance, baby. This is your chance.
Yeah. But Bill's probably finished with Cam.
He probably doesn't seem like a franchise quarterback to me. Haven't seen enough.
Hard to say.
Haven't
Like,
seen enough of him.
Yeah,
Haven't seen enough of him.
He's played 2 quarters this year. So
Yeah.
He's been okay in those 2 quarters.
Yeah.
But probably a lot of prevent defense as well. So.
A bit of garbage time.
Yeah, exactly.
Cam, he's like a big run, like a massive running back playing quarterback. He's rushed for nearly a record rushing touchdowns for a quarterback this year. I think he might have 14, but I'm pretty sure he's thrown 5 touchdown passes.
Yep, I know the 5. I'm pretty sure the 5's right.
Like, how are you meant to win games if your quarterback is throwing single digit touchdown passes?
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's going to be a very strong quarterback draft class as well. So even if they do get the 4th or 5th quarterback, I think it's probably an upgrade from Cam or Jarrett Stidham. But it would be interesting to see as well, because they did have half their defense sit out this year.
True. They should be better next year with the defensive wise. Yes.
Yeah.
They did pretty well this year. I think Bill did a really good job kind of covering a lot of the holes they had.
A lot of band-aids.
Yeah, a lot of band-aids.
Actually. They don't have any receivers. Yeah. So maybe they go quarterback receiver 1 and 2 in the draft.
Yeah. 5 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, and 12 rushing touchdowns.
12. So,
yeah,
pretty lackluster season out of Cam.
I think Cam's probably one and done in New England. They should probably draft. They might look elsewhere for veterans and probably draft.
Do you think that's his career?
No, I think he'll get.
That's what I was going to ask.
I think he makes
one and done. Where does he go to next?
Yeah.
Like, what scheme?
He makes perfect sense to back up guys like Lamar and that sort of thing.
Yeah, maybe like a mentor scheme. The bloke won the NFL MVP. He's no slouch. He's got the most rushing touchdowns by a quarterback in the last decade by a country mile.
And you look at what the Ravens got at the moment. It's like a good example. They've got Lamar and RG3. You could switch out RG3 and put Cam in there if he's still.
Cam's an upgrade.
Yeah, he's an upgrade, definitely.
Yeah.
And has more experience and, like you say, he's been there a lot longer, more of a veteran presence, won a lot of games, could possibly help Lamar in his game. That's like a perfect spot for him, I think, as a backup. Otherwise...
Personality-wise, do you see Cam as a mentor, though?
Hard to say.
He's a leader. He's
a leader.
Yeah, he's definitely a leader. A little bit outspoken sometimes. Maybe you can just get him in there to mentor fashion sense. What do you reckon?
Because the other spot would probably be Arizona. That kind of makes sense.
Yeah, mentor for Kyler.
Yeah. As like the 2 kind of comparable quarterback play types. Yeah, they're probably the 2 main ones. Because like you'd back up Danger Russ if you really want to, but he's not helping there as much as he would be.
Russ has got the experience. Interesting to see what will happen. Hopefully not the twilight of his career, because some of those highlights. Remember when he first came into the league and you're just going, hang on, this guy's the size of a tight end. He's got a cannon. He runs like a fast running back. He's doing all the Superman diving into the end zone. Like unreal spectacle. And took the Carolina Panthers had a good defense that year when they made the Super Bowl. Who else was on that offense? Steve Smith, I guess.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you who the running back was.
Jonathan Stewart and who was probably
Joe Drew's around still then, or
might have been Delangelo Williams, maybe. It might have been them as the 2, but yeah.
Obviously, off the back of a really good defense bolstered by Luke Kuechly and a good front 7, but taking that Panthers team to the Super Bowls, nothing to sneeze at.
No, definitely.
He's had himself a career.
Yeah, and was he 2011 draft? I think he was.
Yeah, he's not that old.
No, so it's like
I think he's like 31 or 32.
Yeah, he'd be early 30s. So, but for him, he's definitely been banged up and injured recently.
Yeah, and the way he plays the game as well. He's not that sit in the pocket, deliver kind of guy. He's I'm going to throw my body on the line for this team every single play. So that obviously does take its toll.
Yeah.
It does.
Anyway, that's enough New England.
Yeah.
Carolina Panthers.
From a relative nothing game, there's 5 minutes gone.
Yeah.
No. So moving on, we had Minnesota at home losing to Chicago Bears 27-33.
Both those teams now cannot. Oh, the Bears can. We'll get to it when we look at our playoff picture. The Vikings are done. They had to win that game. They're done. Put a line through them. Well done, Justin Jefferson, on an outstanding rookie season.
Which continues, of course.
Which continues this week. and week 16, but that's enough for that game.
Yep. So after that, we had Washington at home to Seattle Seahawks, losing 15-20.
Seahawks winning.
Sorry, Seahawks winning.
Seahawks
Yep.
won this game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because they did drop
Washington
that
losing.
game against the Giants beforehand. We thought maybe the football team could give them a bit of strife. They obviously did push them. Washington obviously alive, and NFC West has been clinched by Seattle.
Yep.
Yep.
I'm a bit worried about Seattle going deep though. Their defense
Was
is
this
not,
the game when Russ threw 4 picks?
He
I think
got
or-
sacked a lot in this
Let me
game.
double check.
Yeah, if you can have a look at that, because there
Go with the games, James. I'll look it up.
Okay.
was a point. No, he only threw 1 in that one. Maybe it was last week.
But I think he got sacked like 8 times in this game.
That front 7 from the football team is nice.
Oh, they're very good. Chase Young probably going to be defensive rookie of the year.
Yeah, you'd say so.
Yep.
No, I don't think he was under pressure too much in this game. Obviously, with 2 weeks, we are possibly mixing a few of these games in our memory.
Yes.
So he threw 18 for 27, 121 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception.
It's not really winning numbers, but they managed to get
Slow
the W.
start.
What was next?
Yep. So after that, we had Baltimore at home smoking the Jacksonville Jaguars 40-14.
Yep, pretty much as expected. I think they just ran the fuck over them here. Dual threat.
Yep.
Quarterback Lamar.
Really heated up in the last month. So they're going
Yeah.
to be dangerous. If they make the playoffs, if they need to win their last one, which I think they should.
I think they do need to win.
They have to win. They have to win to make it in. I know that much. But I think their opponent for this week, they can. But we'll get to that.
Yep.
Keep going.
Yep. Okay, so after that, we had the LA Rams losing to New York Jets 20-23.
Oh, my God. I can't believe the Rams lost to the Jets in this one.
How many multis do you reckon got busted off this
Killed a
one?
lot.
Well, I sent you guys one, didn't I? It was like
I think so.
Yeah.
20 leg. With, it was the last one.
It was like it might have, I don't think it was 20, but maybe it was every game from the NFL or something. And you lose on that.
The surprising news, of course, was Adam Gase didn't get fired after this game after winning.
Yeah.
And
They can't even tank for Trevor.
they can't tank for Trevor. Well, they were equal with the Jags after this game. So I think they switched based on record. But because they then won the following game, they're guaranteed 2. So Jags, they can't
Even if the Jags win and they lose this week.
yeah, Jags is a guaranteed 1. So Jags have won, and its pick has been Trevor Lawrence. But as we've been going on, Clemson have just lost to Ohio State.
Yep.
Justin Fields threw 6 touchdowns in this.
He's got
Six.
a cannon of
yeah.
an arm.
And the talk is he's going to be 2, but do you go with Trevor Lawrence's 34 wins in college football over the last 3 to 4 years, or do you go Fields, who's come on hot in the last 1.5? I think. Yeah. So
I love Justin Fields' season of him on QB1 on Netflix. Pretty cool, calm, collected character. He's always, having a bit of banter with his brother and his old man. Incredible arm talent, and also a little bit luck with his legs as well, which you don't really get with Trevor.
So it's a good, but it's not a great comparison. But say slower than Lamar. Lamar's like ridiculously fast.
So he's like everyone else on the planet.
So he's
So he's coming second.
Yeah, he's probably a little bit slower than Lamar, probably a little bit slower than Kyler.
Yep.
But probably a better passer than Lamar, maybe equal to what Kyler can do. So he could be on that level. And,
Yeah.
Kyler went 1, of course.
Yep.
In a redraft, Lamar probably goes higher than where he went.
Definitely
late in the
underdrafted.
waivers.
Yeah. I think Kyler's a reasonable comparison there from what I've seen.
And you get a bigger Kyler too in that.
Yeah,
So
yep.
they list him at 6'3", 230.
Yeah,
He's
yep.
probably 6'2", 220. But
once
that's a good size.
Yeah, but once he gets into the NFL as well, they might. Anyways,
Yeah. But that's going to be the talk of one and 2.
I think Trevor has to go 1.
Yeah.
But Justin Fields is a very good quarterback.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of quarterback depth in this draft as well. We haven't even mentioned Mac Jones, who might win the Heisman out of Alabama.
And then there's Zach Wilson and Trey Lance as well. There's 5 probably solid QBs.
There's 5 probably top 20 guys.
And then
there.
Kyler, what's his last name? Trask.
Oh yeah.
Who
He's from Florida. Yeah.
had a really good year, but I think kind of flopped in his bowl game. So I think he might have snuck into the first, but he's probably a second to third round pick at this point.
Right.
But
right.
again, another big body, not a deep throw passer, but a really good, accurate short passer.
Yep.
But yeah, we'll get more into the draft when we get close to that. But it's just interesting that 1 and 2, because you could talk about Sam Darnold. What happens with him if they take Fields at 2? But anyway, we'll talk about draft stuff.
we got enough to get through. Moving on, please, Jimmy the Chinaman.
Yeah. So moving on, we had Arizona at home beating out Philadelphia 33-26.
Yeah.
Hurts first start.
And
He's looked good in the last
good.
2 weeks.
Second start, actually. I think this was his second start. I'm pretty sure because last episode we were talking about his first start.
Okay.
Yeah. But it looks pretty good.
It looks good.
Looks pretty good.
To the point where I think Wentz might be done.
Yeah,
Philly.
I think he'll be looking to go somewhere else.
Yeah. Or they might keep him just because his contract is
But
huge
you can't have someone sitting on the bench for that money.
for 30 plus mil. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
he gets traded, I would think, next year.
So on the day, Hurts was 24 for 44, 338 yards, 3 touchdowns, and then 11 carries for 63 yards,
That's
1
it.
touchdown.
I think he got 100 last week as well.
Great numbers. Yeah, he did have in week 14, our
that's what he had.
last
Yeah.
broadcast, he had 100 yards and then over 300 there and 4 touchdowns with the 3 passing and 1 on the ground. Yeah. He's going to be a really good talent there in Philadelphia. And the feel for Carson Wentz. The year that they win the Super Bowl, he's obviously on the sideline. Did a lot for the Philadelphia Eagles. He's okay. He's had a bad year. I think he'll find a spot somewhere.
Hasn't
else.
really recovered from his injuries yet, and he's probably a bit gun shy playing behind that offensive line.
Yeah,
it probably makes more sense for Hurts because he can move around a
little bit more
and,
mobility.
Yeah, and when things break down, he can get out.
Yeah.
Whereas Wentz, couldn't really do that. I don't want to say he's lost it because he had some mobility, kind of lost it, but I think he's maybe a bit more gun shy with the injuries he's had.
Yep.
He probably needs greener pastures and somewhere that will invest in him and hopefully rebuild around him. But we'll see.
Need to get him some receivers.
Oh, that too.
Yeah.
Hurts is going to need some receivers. So that first round pick is probably let's look at the receivers.
Yep.
So after that, we had New Orleans Saints at home losing to Kansas City 29-32.
Kept this pretty close.
This is a good game.
Yeah. We were saying game.
Breeze's first game back.
Breeze's first game back. We're saying this could be a possible Super Bowl. Would love to see these two teams in the Super Bowl. Patty Mahomes looked a little bit human again.
Yeah, the defense has been getting after him.
Yeah.
But they could score points.
Got some numbers there for us?
Yeah, so Mahomes was 26 for 47, 254 yards, 3 touchdowns.
That's pretty close.
7 carries of 37 yards is pretty good as well.
Yeah.
Breeze was 15 for 34.
Yep.
234 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. So not bad, but
pretty good, really.
Yeah,
that's you kind of need your defenses to step up there. Out of the quarterback play, that's pretty impeccable out of both of them.
Yeah,
just that one pick from Breeze. Would love to see that as a Super Bowl. I'm a Packers fan. Would probably rather see the Chiefs and Packers, or someone even other than the Chiefs. But yeah,
it was a bit of a rough game for Breeze in this one though. He was 15 of 34.
Yeah. So there's only
first
45% completion rate for a bloke who normally completes about 70.
Yeah, and Kamara had a quiet one in this too.
Yeah,
compared to what he did last week.
Yeah, which we'll get to.
You go.
Moving forward, that could be a playoff. Could be a Super Bowl.
Could be Super Bowl. Yeah,
could have some ramifications.
So last game for Sunday, and Monday was New York Giants, at home losing to the Cleveland Browns 6-20.
Expected.
Yep.
Yeah.
The next one not so expected.
No.
So Monday night we had Cincinnati at home beating Pittsburgh 27-17.
Yeah. So Pittsburgh, after starting the season 12-0, dropped 3 games in a row. This was the game where Juju was dancing on the Bengals halfway emblem at the start of the game on the logo.
Did it again this week. Yeah. But anyway,
and he got absolutely lit up in this game. I think he had negative fantasy points in this game, Juju, because he had that fumble and must have had about 15 yards.
15 yards.
Yeah.
Off 6 targets. Very quiet.
I'm worried about the Steelers' offense, man. Like they can't.
The defense
has
been pulling them through.
They can't run the ball.
Yeah,
they can't run the ball. Their receivers have really dropped off. after earlier.
Connor played in this game, didn't he?
Yeah, Connor played. He's been a few games back. What was his numbers?
No, he didn't.
No, he didn't.
He didn't play in this game. So yeah,
So
they
they
got
had
that Benny Snell.
Jr. 18 carries for 84 yards.
That's okay.
yeah, 4.5 average.
Yeah,
It's not bad.
one touchdown as well.
Well, considering they ran for 45 yards or something the week before.
Yeah.
But yeah, losing to the Bengals, no bueno.
Yeah, I wonder if Ben's just hit a bit of a wall, and maybe this week of rest for him will be good.
How old is Ben Roethlisberger? He must be 38.
You got to remember he had tennis elbow surgery, or whatever
Yeah,
it was,
uh-huh. And there's talk
on his throwing arm. So.
he might be comeback player of the year as well. Considering he didn't play much at all last year. Mason Rudolph's going to get the start for them this week.
Yep, against the Browns, against Myles Garrett.
I didn't even thought about that.
Well, Browns have to win this to make playoffs as well.
Yeah.
The Steelers, of course, have already clinched.
Mason, you got to wear a helmet underneath your helmet.
Yeah. How old did you say Roethlisberger was?
38.
38.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Spot on.
All right. That ends.
That's it for week 15.
That's it for week
Woolly,
Yeah.
woolly, dooley, whiffy, wawa.
Whiffed that.
God.
Whiffed it.
That ends it for week 15.
Week
Moving
16.
into week 16.
Start on. Yeah, the Saturday night game here.
Yeah, the Kamara game.
Yep.
What was the score?
I was pretty happy
what was
with
the
that
score
one.
there, Jim? You got it there? Because I've got it.
Let's get you started.
All
while
right,
I-
so the
while I
New
pick it up.
Orleans Saints beat the
Yeah.
Minnesota Vikings 52-33, 85 points in that game, if you don't mind. 6 touchdowns, 6 rushing touchdowns for Alvin Kamara. Ties, I think, the most rushing touchdowns in a game in the NFL with a couple of blokes. If one of you wants to maybe get that up, most rushing touchdowns in a game.
I'll get it.
The Saints, man, Breeze didn't really need to pass.
Well, he threw 2 picks in this and no touchdowns.
Yeah.
True.
They were just running all over him.
Yeah, and Murray, because Kamara did 22 for 155, and then Murray did 12 for 72. So
So they had 45 rushing attempts for 264 yards and 7 touchdowns.
Vikes couldn't defend
Holy
anything.
dooly.
Mind you, Breeze still threw for 300
Still
yards
threw
as well.
300 yards.
So.
He did only throw the ball 26 times. So, in terms of a pass to run ratio, sort of like a 1-3 Tuggerung Tornado esque. Who am I kidding? Ours was 10 rushes to 1 pass. But yeah, Kamara has himself one of the all-time games. And yeah, who's got 6 rushing touchdowns in a game? I feel like it's a couple, because I think maybe back in the day when the league was a little bit more run heavy, that there might have been guys to do that. Sean's still looking that up.
Yep.
Playoff game.
Saints are going to be very hard to beat, as we've alluded to. Minnesota are done for the year.
Kamara also had a chance to break that record.
Yeah,
Taysom Hill stole a
Yeah.
was like a 5-yard.
Yeah, so he went out there in that shotgun that they do with Taysom Hill, and you pretty much know he's going to run it in the end zone.
Yeah.
Can you stop him? At that point, Kamara had 5.
Yeah.
So it wasn't going for the record.
Yeah.
Well, Kamara got 6,
Yeah.
and that's kind of what I'm looking at here. He's number 1. So
Outright?
Outright. Portis got 5, and he was the last one to do it. No, 3. Jim Brown's got 5. Ricky Walters got 5, and that was in a playoff game.
Yep.
James Stewart got 5, and Cookie Gilchrist got 5.
So he has that outright. There you go.
According to that,
That's from profootballreference.com.
yeah.
Maybe it's Super Bowl era as well. Because I felt like when I was watching on ESPN, they said it tied it, but
Well, I know he tied Clinton because they put that up on that. Portis, that was
maybe 6 got it.
since 2000. Like he's the last person to run like that.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like when guys get 3 rushing touchdowns, you're like, fuck that.
Well, Aaron Jones was one of the few that had 4 as well. So it's like in the modern era of running backs. So yeah, crazy game for him.
Yeah. Madden like.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
What was
so
our
moving
next
on?
game there? Yeah.
Yep. So after that, we had 3 games on the Saturday. First off was Detroit at home losing to Tampa Bay 7-47.
Yeah, getting smoked. Lines are done. I think.
Lines are done.
Don't need to talk too much about that, I don't think.
Stafford played in
Not
this,
necessarily saying too much about Tampa Bay. Jay just got to keep on
he
on,
didn't.
really.
No, Stafford did play. He threw
Stafford did
3
play.
passes, but he had 2 or 3 broken ribs. Like
3 picks. Is that 3 passes?
3 passes. That's all he did. So
What did they do?
And then
Really?
Chase Daniels came in, and then someone else played.
Okay.
Because I knew going in, Stafford was like, or he
literally broke his rib the week before.
Exactly. Crazy that he was even attempting to play, but
Yeah.
obviously he didn't last very long, and they switched him out.
He's a tough cookie. Like in terms of quarterback toughness, he's right up there.
Yeah. Next one, James.
Yeah. Yes, after that we had Arizona at home losing to San Fran 12-20.
So it keeps San Francisco. No, they're gone.
They're gone.
They're
They're gone. But it ruins Cards' hopes.
Yeah, they can make it.
They still can make it, but
can
it makes it difficult.
They could have put themselves in a much better situation. Really consistency there with Arizona. I don't see them going deep.
No.
Here. Good to see Kyler developing, and obviously DeAndre Hopkins been massive.
Oh, he's huge.
For them.
George Kittle, was this his first?
Yeah,
First back?
okay,
Yeah.
back,
Had a big game.
Yeah, big game. Four receptions off 5 targets, 92 yards.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty good for him. So after that, we had Las Vegas Raiders at home losing to Miami in a very close game, 25-26.
They were in front with 40 seconds to go.
Yeah. you see that blown coverage at the end. I don't know which Dolphin caught it pretty much on the sideline to get them into field goal range to steal victory there. The Dolphins keep their playoff hopes alive, and the Raiders, who
kills it for them.
3 or 4 weeks ago were looking like they might be playing playoff football, gone.
So after that, we've got Sunday games. So the first one there, we've got Kansas City Chiefs at home, only just winning against Atlanta, 17-14.
Did Mahomes play the whole game here?
I think he did because they...
Because it was close.
Yes, he did.
He did play it? Yeah. So that's it. It's hard to say that the Chiefs aren't going to be the Super Bowl favourites, but there's just been a couple times, they win by 3 there against the Falcons. They win by 3 against the Saints. Saints obviously a pretty good team.
Well, do you reckon they're just taking it easy towards the end of the season?
Yeah, maybe. I know Mahomes isn't starting this week. I think he's gonna sit the whole game.
They've clinched one, so there's no point for them.
exactly.
They're 14-1. They don't need it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But just... Yeah, anyways, you'd expect them to...
You'd be a little bit worried.
Yeah, not be so close against a team like Atlanta.
Yeah. So after
Plus,
that...
they got a week off too.
Sorry.
Think about it. Sorry.
Yeah.
And hopefully when they come back, it'll be almost 3-4 weeks until he plays a football game.
So his body should be feeling fresh.
It should be fresh, but hopefully he's not lethargic or rusty. So
Yeah.
you think after what he did last year in the playoffs after coming back from his knee injury that he'd be right. So.
What's the old, it's an age-old question, isn't it? Does having time off at this time of the year serve you?
It didn't help Ravens last year.
No,
They definitely came out very lethargic and got smoked by Tennessee in that game. So it didn't help them. They probably, if they could get rolling, I think it's a bit of what you do when you time off and what the coaches can do to get you up for those games. And you think of the Ravens last year, very young quarterback. So
Yes.
it's going to be a different challenge to say Mahomes, who's already won it, he's MVP. It's going to be the question of whether he gets up for another finals run, and you'd think he would.
Yeah,
So
I think
they'll be all right.
And I think in the AFC as well, Steelers, I don't see them
It's one of those ones.
troubling them.
Yeah, I don't think Tennessee's, whether they sneak in or the Colts sneak in. There's a bunch of teams that might sneak in. Ravens are probably the hottest that
Yeah,
lot.
I think the Ravens or the Bills.
Yeah. So Bills are probably the only one that that have clinched that'll probably be the biggest competition, I think, for the Chiefs, and a dark horse maybe Ravens. But we'll get to playoffs.
Yeah.
Keep going.
All right. So after that, we had New York Jets at home beating Cleveland 23-16.
So Cleveland could have clinched by beating the Jets here, couldn't they?
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know how Jets won these 2 games, but anyway.
No.
That's a real dagger for Cleveland fans, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, it is. Well, I guess moving on from that, we had Pittsburgh at home getting back in the winner's circle, beating out Indianapolis Colts 28-24.
So I don't know if they just got a rocket up their ass from Tomlin after losing 3 in the trot. If there's any game where you'd be a little bit worried about him, maybe against this Indianapolis team sort of fighting for a playoff position. You got any numbers there? It's probably 2 of the best defenses in the AFC.
34 or 49
if
for
not the league.
Roethlisberger. So James Conner was back, but he only had 5 carries.
Yep.
They had a total of 14 carries in this game to 49 passes.
So they can't run the ball.
No.
Obviously,
they figured that out and were like, fine,
yeah,
throwing.
Big Ben having a big game there, throwing the football, 341.
Yeah. Juju, 9 of 96.
Yep.
Johnson, 8 of 74. Claypool, 4 of 54.
So their whole receiving
Ebron.
core
Well,
shot.
Connor had 5 for 45. So maybe that's what they missed. A bit of backfield action as well. So that helps and probably opened it up a little bit for the others.
I'm just concerned about a team that hasn't been able to run the ball going into playoffs, because if there's anything you need to do coming into playoff football, especially cold weather football, run the ball and play good defense. They play very good defense, but the running the ball side of things, maybe not the best.
The defense does seem to be a little bit banged up the last couple of weeks.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
What was our next game there, Jimmy?
Yeah, so after that we had Jacksonville at home tanking for Trevor against the Chicago Bears, losing 17 to 41. Mitchell Trubisky.
Trubisky had a good game here, didn't he?
Yeah.
Obviously, strength of opponent has to be considered.
Well, David Montgomery, he's had...
he's gone bananas, hasn't he?
Last month, he's had an unreal month.
Yeah.
23 carries for 95 yards, 1 touchdown.
Yep, very good out of David Montgomery. I don't think he did that for me at all last year when I had him in fantasy, so thank you, David. And how did Trubisky go?
Yeah, so he was 24 for 35, 265 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception.
Not bad. Not bad.
Average numbers.
Yeah, got the win.
That's all you need. Robinson, 10 receptions for 103 yards.
He's
so underrated, but it's because he's on the
one
Browns.
of the breakout players of the year, hasn't he?
Yeah.
No one was talking about him in the draft. Like in around fantasy drafts, I should say.
Yes, yeah.
True. Yeah.
I think it's because of the quarterback situation, which I think is why he's so undervalued.
Yeah.
Just because everyone's worried about who's playing quarterback.
But he's going to finish as a top 5 rusher in the NFL. And, if he's getting 10 catches, obviously very handy out of the backfield. Yeah, maybe one of the most underrated players / breakout players in the league this year. James Robinson of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yep.
What was our next game there?
Yep. So after that, we had Baltimore Ravens at home beating out New York Giants. 27 to 13.
As expected.
Yeah.
Giant season's done. Ravens will be interesting if they clinch a playoff game.
Moving on from there, we had Houston at home losing to Cincinnati 37 to 31.
Cincinnati stringing 2 in a row. This was JJ Watt post game. Pretty passionate. Didn't hold back with his words for his teammates. Did you see this, Sean?
I didn't, but I heard the stories that he's probably done there.
Oh,
really?
Well, JJ, yeah.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Imagine if he goes to Pittsburgh.
Well, that's the chat, whether he'll go play with his brother at Pittsburgh.
Oh, my God. Could you imagine? Watts on both edges.
Yeah. Because I think he's had enough of Houston and what they've done, and he doesn't want to stick around for another rebuild. I'm not sure what his contract's like for how he could get in and out of it or not. But he might be getting close. I'll look that up. But there's talk that, he doesn't want to stick around.
Well, post-podcast, you should have a look. It's only about 2 minutes where he gets really fiery, but he pretty much is calling out some of his teammates.
I've seen him do it before as well. Like,
he did it earlier on in the season. I think.
He did it a year or two ago.
Guys aren't showing up on time. They don't want to be here. We get paid well. It's the best job in the world. Obviously, he's very passionate and expects to see the same out of his team members, teammates, and just maybe not getting it there in Houston. The Texans, obviously, 3 or 4 years ago, one of the best defenses in the league. They can't, they're letting 37 points in against the Bengals without Joe Burrow. Like, they stink.
Yeah.
They're really bad. So, we did mention that, I suppose, they're in a pretty strong division.
So he signed a 6-year deal in 2015. So he's got 1 more year left on that deal. But according to this, he's got no dead cap. So they could actually just release him and not have any money hit the cap.
Right.
How old is he again?
I reckon he's about Cam's
31.
31. Yeah.
Yeah, so he's still got a few more years.
Definitely.
Yeah. Because I was thinking, because he's put a lot into Houston, would
Yeah,
you just call it a day and
he's
ride off in the sunset? Or
Yeah.
Well, he wants to compete. Like I've been to
True.
2 playoffs.
Yeah,
and we
never deep.
we lost first game because
Yeah.
they lost to Buffalo first game last year, and I think or the year before.
Yeah,
and then they lost the first game before that. So
and
I
as
don't
a, as a
think they're ever
defensive end, it's not like a quarterback. You're not going to be playing when you're 38.
good. He's probably got 3 or 4 more years.
Yeah, he's
left in
probably
him,
got
so.
3 or 4 good
So
years.
he's probably looking, if he can get out of this deal, he's probably looking for his last, which will be his third contract, which would be his last contract possibly. And maybe Pittsburgh gives you the best options, but you might be
This is
concerned,
highly
concerned
speculative.
about the quarterback play there. But
Highly speculative, yeah. I don't know. I'd imagine it'd be a dream growing up with your younger brother to maybe play with him, but yeah, it looks like he's had enough with the Texans, at least the way they've been putting in the last few weeks.
Yeah, well, I suppose changing the guard with the head coach and stuff. Yeah, it definitely puts it up in the air.
Yeah.
So moving on, we had the LA Chargers at home beating Denver 19-16.
So the Chargers string 3 in a row wins that makes their season look a little bit better,
Denver should have won this game.
and no playoff ramifications, I suppose, we move forward.
No.
Yeah. I just want to say Denver had more total yards, more passing yards, more rushing yards, more yards per plays, more first downs, more third down conversions, and still lost this game.
How'd they lose?
How did
Turnovers?
they lose?
They didn't turn the ball. I had 2 interceptions.
Yeah, well,
They had more time of possession, but they just couldn't score points. McManus missed a field goal, which would have tied it. And then in the fourth quarter, they did nothing in the first half, and then they scored mostly in the second. Looking like Chargers would choke this one again, but they just couldn't put together a last drive to then tie it again. Actually, here's a stat for you. Jared Jeudy had 6 catches, and I think he had 15 targets in this game.
15 targets.
Yeah, he set a record for 9 drops.
Oh, jeez.
Wow.
I think of that 9, like 6 were his drops. Like,
Really?
yeah. So
Jerry.
hit the jugs.
Yep.
Anyway,
Yep.
Justin Herbert.
that's my
it is-
Broncos chat.
Justin Herbert, it is worth mentioning, goes to 28 touchdowns, the most ever by a rookie in the NFL, which is amazing.
Yeah.
Like guys like Peyton Manning, who pretty much started straight away.
Peyton had the record, didn't he?
I imagine it would have been.
I think he had it at 28.
Yeah. Andrew Luck as well, I think, started and went well first year. Maybe if someone just wants to have a look at that.
I'll bring up Herbert.
Yeah, most touchdowns by a rookie in the NFL. So hasn't, the people are talking about him, I guess, but they're haven't really been winning a heap of football games. But yeah, very, very impressive to win that, have that accolade as having the most passing touchdowns by a rookie, considering.
Okay, so Baker
which
said
other
it.
guys?
Baker said it at 27, taking over Peyton and Russell Wilson.
Who were 26.
Russell Wilson, yeah.
Yeah, so Herbert's now taken it over from him, and with a game in hand too. So
Yeah. Could get 30.
So does that put him as rookie of the year?
But him and Jefferson, I think that there's a legitimate
Possibly.
case for Justin
we'll
Jefferson.
we'll get to the awards. We'll talk about the awards.
Yeah, you'd think so, but I think there is a case for Jefferson.
We'll talk about awards next week. I think that's
Next week?
Yeah.
Yeah. So after that, we had Washington at home losing to Carolina Panthers 13-20.
Yeah, so real big slip up here from the football team. They
They needed to win this.
could have clinched their division.
But Haskins, of course, was a quarterback in this game.
Yes.
Who is now longer the quarterback at Washington. He threw
Yeah.
2 picks in this game and then gone. I think Alex Smith tried to play, but they sat him. I think he was inactive for this game. First game back for Gibson. But yeah, Haskins, I think a bit of chat about maturity issues.
Yeah,
a bit
what's
of,
happened with what's
bit of
happened with Dwayne?
entitlement, maybe.
Yeah, because he was really good at OSU.
Yeah.
And
You got to remember that Riviera didn't draft him either. So he previous regime sort of like Snyder's still there, of course, as the owner. But yeah, Riviera didn't draft him. I think he's possibly looking at Alex Smith again for next year.
Yeah.
Liked what Alex has done
Why
so
not?
far.
Yeah.
Again, probably a veteran leadership.
Yep.
The opposite of what Haskins doing in the meeting rooms.
Yep.
Let's hope Haskins doesn't flame out like Jamarcus Russell did when we were talking about that before.
Yeah.
So he didn't get picked up by anyone. He cleared waivers, so he's free to sign.
He's a
Some chat that the Panthers might be interested in him as a possible rebuild project.
That'd be rough against Teddy, who I think's been pretty good this year.
He's been solid this year, all things considering. CMC and all that.
But whether Haskins goes the way of Josh Rosen, we'll have to see.
It's crazy to think guys that get drafted in the first round, elite
they usually
players.
Usually they don't give up on them after 2 years. Well, it's not even full 2 years here. So he was drafted in the first round last year's draft. Same sort of thing happened to Josh. He was drafted and then they brought in Kyler the following year. So there's no actual replacement here at Washington. They're just getting rid of him, and whether that's just because he's cancer in the locker room, whatever.
Yeah, it must be an attitude type thing.
Yeah.
Moving forward,
we had Dallas at home beating Philadelphia Eagles 37-17.
Killing off the Eagles' playoff hopes.
So the
and
Eagles are
keeping
done
those alive
for the year.
Red Rifle.
The Red Rifle, what was his numbers in this game? They put up 37 points.
Yeah, 22 off 30.
Zeke had a big game.
377 yards.
377?
Yep. 3 touchdowns, 1 interception.
Andy Dalton, the Red Rifle.
Yeah.
And Zeke finally...
19 for 105.
Yeah.
And then Gallup...
hadn't broken 100 yards in a game since the start of the season, since Dak was there, I think.
Gallup and Cooper both get 121 yards receiving.
Jalen Hurts, how did he go?
Yeah, so he had 21 off 39, 342 yards. So that's pretty good. 1 touchdown, but 2 interceptions off 3 sacks as well. Probably hurt me a little bit.
He was the leading rusher for the team, 69 from 9 carries.
So, that dual threat ability going to be his strong suit. Just needs to learn how to not turn the ball over. Most rookie quarterbacks struggle with that coming into the NFL their first year.
Yes, he also fumbled twice, losing 1 as well. Probably not the best day for him.
Eagles are gone. Cowboys can still make it. We'll have a look at that in a sec. What were our last few games?
Yep. So after that, we had Seattle at home beating our LH Rams 20-9.
Rams have self-destructed a little bit, haven't they?
Yeah.
I was just looking at that. They can still make playoffs, so they haven't been...
That loss against the Jets really going to hurt them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't think...
So the Seahawks clinched the NFC West with that, and the Rams and the Cardinals are still alive.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the Cards, whether they can make it or not, because they are a game back from the Rams. So the Cards are 8-7, the Rams are 9-6. Yes, they can. Arizona needs to win. There you go. Oh, well, they're playing the Rams. So whoever wins that game clinches.
Right. Oh, that's cool.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And
after that, we had Green Bay at home smoking. Tennessee Titans.
So
40-14.
This was an absolute frozen tundra game. Classic Green Bay in December. Like a foot of snow on the field. The guys working the brooms, to get the lines cleared up. I thought, geez, this might suit the Tennessee Titans. They might be able to just feed Derrick Henry, play smash mouth, snowy football. Wrong. Aaron Rodgers, he looks better in the snow. Devontae Adams looks better in the snow.
Devontae had a huge game.
Yeah.
They went absolutely nuts. Can I get some numbers there for Rodgers and Adams?
So Adams was 11 receptions for 142 yards, 3 touchdowns.
Yeah.
If you don't mind.
Yeah, so that's not a bad effort.
And what about Rodgers?
Rodgers, 21 off 25, 231 yards, 4 touchdowns, 1 interception.
So completing 80% in the snow.
Yeah.
So they had 37 rushing attempts, and AJ Dillon actually got 21 carries in this for 124 yards.
Breakout game for AJ Dillon. I think perhaps they were saying, let's kind of take the load off Aaron Jones.
Yeah, I think Jones might have rolled his ankle a little bit too.
Coming into playoffs. We have mentioned AJ Dillon on the Esky before. He is an absolute beast. Listed at about 250. He looks like he might be even heavier than that. And tackling a guy like that with some pretty reasonable footwork in the snow, very difficult. You see, he scored twice. The first time he tried to do Lambeau leap, he didn't make it up. He slid back down, and then the second time he got up there. So congrats to AJ Dillon. I think that was his first 2 rushing touchdowns in the NFL.
Yeah.
And the Packers, geez, they look scary.
They look good, especially Rodgers on, and then now he's got some running attack to help support him. Adams is back healthy. So if they can put up 40 points, they're going to blow a lot of teams out.
The only fuck you I've got to the Green Bay Packers is it was my week for the Punters Club. I looked at the weather in northern Wisconsin. And I said, "Geez, that's rough." What's the unders overs? 53, if you don't mind. 53 was the total match points. I go smash the unders here. I'll smash the unders on the passing yards, which both got up for Tannehill and Rodgers. 54 points. Lose by half a point. That was my last roll of the dice, or second last roll of the dice for my Punters Club. Anyways, Green Bay Packers, go Pack, go. They're looking really good and currently have the number 1 seed in the NFC leading into the last week of the NFL regular season.
So just on that, Rodgers broke 4,000 yards. He's now on 44 touchdowns for the season off 5 interceptions.
Whew.
Yeah, so
44 to 5.
44 to 5.
Remember when they used to say like 2 to 1 is a good ratio? It's like, seriously, it's like 8 to 1. Now better than
That's
8 to 1. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of Rodgers, we've been talking about the MVP race. He's, 44 and 6?
44 and 5.
5 for the year.
Yeah.
I think Mahomes is up to 38 and 6.
You got that there?
But he's sitting this week, so of course he can't add to his tally. And then I think Danger Russ was 35 and it's like 12 interceptions.
Yeah, a few picks, I think.
So the difference, Mahomes is already at 4,700, so 4,700 passing yards, and Rodgers is at 4,000. Let's say he gets to 4,300, 4,400 if he plays the whole game. Let's be conservative and give him 2 more touchdowns and say it's 46. So you'd think, comparing the numbers wise, Rodgers is probably going to be MVP at this rate.
Well, the fact that Mahomes isn't playing, unless Rodgers goes out and throws 4 picks, I think he's...
But even still, he's got 6 touchdowns on Mahomes.
I suppose you got to consider the yardage, but it's pretty incredible that 2 weeks ago we were starting to say, maybe Mahomes isn't going to be the MVP. And 2 games forward, now time of broadcast, we're going, you can't not give it to Aaron Rodgers.
I don't think there's anyone else that kind of comes close.
No.
Like, if Adams had played all 17 games...
I'm glad you mentioned this.
Because he's played 13 and has unreal numbers.
Yeah, so
17 touchdowns.
Yeah, why don't you get Devontae Adams' numbers, because he missed, I think, week 2 and week 3. He's missed 2 games, so he's going to have a 14-game season rather than a 16-game season. If you wouldn't mind, Sean, letting me know his numbers for the year. I think you're right. He's on 17 touchdowns.
Yep, 17.
And what about the rest of the numbers there?
So 109 receptions, 1,328 yards. 17 touchdowns.
So give him a two extra games, right? Let's say he boosts up another 200 receiving yards and another 2 touchdowns. Let's give him that.
Yep.
So that's with a game in hand. He's on like 120 receptions, like 15, 50 yards and 19 touchdowns.
Yeah.
It could have been one of the greatest receiving seasons ever by an NFL receiver. And I did see he may not get an award from the NFL, but Madden has given him the 99 rating. He joins the 99 club, pretty exclusive club to be in. So good on you, Devontae. An absolute freak of a receiver, red zone threat, hands, speed, moves. He's got everything, and really hoping he shows up in the playoffs for the Green Bay Packers.
Yeah, like as a comparison, like DeAndre Hopkins had a great year. He's 111 receptions, 1,372 yards, but only 6 touchdowns.
Yeah, so 11 touchdowns less for a very similar stat line otherwise, and 2 games more.
Is there another good comparison?
Tyreek Hill, maybe?
Yep, Tyreek Hill.
So or Stephon Diggs.
So Tyreek Hill's 87 off 135 targets.
Yep.
1,276 yards, 15 touchdowns.
So 15 touchdowns out of Tyreek, but two games.
And 30 less receptions, though.
Yeah, and 30 less receptions. So Tyreek, obviously the deep threat. He's got this unrivaled speed.
Yeah.
But is he as a complete receiver as Adams? I'd say no.
No. Well, you got Kelsey there as well, who's also been putting up big numbers.
Yeah, and hard to compare, I suppose, receiver to tight end.
Yeah, but like Kelsey's season stats, then is a comparison. You've got for Tyreek, I mean. Yeah, like he's 105 receptions for 1,416 yards for 11 touchdowns.
Well, speaking of best seasons ever, this could go up there with one of the best tight end seasons ever. It's definitely the most yards. I think when Gronk was going mental, I think he had a few seasons where he had 16, 17 touchdowns. So that maybe...
I don't think he ever got the yardage, though.
No. So an incredible number of volume there for...
like Waller,
Travis Kelce.
As the next comparison for tight ends is 98 receptions, 1,079 yards, and 8 touchdowns.
So Kelce nearly 400 yards ahead there of the next closest.
And 7 touchdowns.
That's unbelievable. I suppose we should try and finish off the games that were. How many left there?
So we had rounded out Sunday.
Yep.
So last game for the week on Monday was New England at home losing to Buffalo 9 to...
Wrong way around.
Wrong way around? No. New England at home losing to Buffalo.
Yes, that's right. You said it the other way around.
No, I didn't.
I'm sure you did. Anyway.
We'll find that out.
Check the tape. Check the tape.
9 to 38.
Yeah. Bill smoked him.
Yeah.
Yeah, New England bad. We've mentioned Cam's quarterback play. Josh Allen, he has 34 passing touchdowns. That's the single season record for Buffalo. Beats out Jim Carrey.
So Stidham actually played a little bit in this. I think he played the last quarter. So we've kind of covered this. We're not real great in this game. 4 for 11 for 44. But yeah, the Patriots and all sorts.
They can't pass the ball at all.
No. 320 yards, 4 touchdowns for Allen.
He's been really, really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. If it wasn't for those guys that we're talking about, Rodgers and Mahomes,
they bench him towards the end of the game.
Probably the third best player.
He did. I don't think he played the last series. Based on that.
Just saw Matt Barkley.
Yeah,
he's still kicking around. USC man, Matt Barkley.
The one we did forget was Diggs. So Diggs has 120 receptions for 1,459 yards and 8 touchdowns.
So again, about half the touchdowns as Devontae, but in terms of volume, really nice season out of Stephon Diggs. 120 catches with a game in hand. That's mental.
Considering he had 63 last year.
Yeah.
You can see why he wanted out.
Yeah.
All right.
And putting that in perspective, Kelsey's only like 40-odd yards behind him.
Yep.
Right.
As a tight end.
Yeah.
Crazy season.
Season. There's been some really good offensive play, definitely. And I think, how far is Henry from 2,000?
I think far. I think far. It could happen.
He got another 100, so I think he's probably 400 away.
No, I think it's closer than that.
So he's on 1,777 yards.
Yeah.
So he needs 240. If anyone can do it, it's him. They're playing the Texans.
223 to be exact.
There you go.
And I think he's had
15 touchdowns.
Well, he's 200 games this year. He's had 215 and 212. So he'd be 10 short if he had it based on that average. But
they came against the Packers, hurt him, man.
Yeah. Well, I think...
God, that's nice to look at those numbers. There's so many triple digits there.
I think the Browns game was probably the one that hurt him the most, the 15 and 60
Mm-hmm.
after he's had his big kind of run around there. But he bounced back. 200 against the Jags helps. Yeah, 98 against... 98, that's still almost 100. That's kind of what your average you want to be.
Great season, nonetheless, out of Derrick Henry.
And 15 touchdowns on the year for him.
The king.
All right.
Let's have a preview of Week 17 and discuss the playoff picture.
Yeah, I think we'll focus more on the playoff pictures because all the other games don't mean anything. So
Okay. All right. Yeah, let's do that. Yeah. I like where your head's at there.
So
don't need to talk about any toilet bowls in Week 17. AKA the Jets versus the Patriots.
Yes. Exactly. Will the Jets get the third pick if they win that game? That'd be so funny.
Is anyone on 2? I don't think so. Because the Bengals now.
Yeah, they won their last 2, so they've bumped up.
Texans have won 4 games.
There's a table.
Yep.
Let me have
4.
So Jets are on 2, 4.
Yeah, I don't think it can.
Jags
Patriots
are on
6.
No, it can't happen.
Can't happen. No one else. Yeah, Falcons are on 4. They're the next.
No team on 3.
Eagles are on 4 and tie 1. So
no team on
3.
Yeah.
All right, so let's run through the playoff picture. So the Bills have already clinched the East, and Kansas have clinched the West, And
In AFC, this is.
AFC this is. So I'm going through AFC first. And the Steelers, of course, have clinched the North. So in the North, so Baltimore are playing Cincinnati this week. So Baltimore can clinch if they win, of course. So they just need to win. So they get a playoff berth if they win. They can get in if the Browns lose or if Indianapolis lose.
And they lose to the Bengals. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, if they lose the Bengals,
But
then
they need the Browns and Colts to lose.
exactly. There's also a bunch of tie scenarios as well.
Let's
but
not worry about ties. Let's try and assume that there's no ties.
So the
that
Browns
makes it a real clusterfuck.
the Browns though have Pittsburgh, but they've got Pittsburgh with Mason Rudolph. So the Cleveland can clinch if they win, or if Indy loses. So of course, if Baltimore wins, they're out. There is a scenario if Tennessee lose, Miami wins, they're in, or there's a or Baltimore win or tie. Okay. So
Yeah, you've
Tennessee.
gone from talking about Cincinnati to Cleveland, and it's just a flip.
Yeah. So sorry. So for Cleveland, Tennessee need to lose, Miami need to win, and Baltimore need to
Lose, you'd say.
lose. Yeah. That has to be wrong then.
Yeah.
Yes. So then the Colts. The Colts are in the North, aren't they?
No, they're in the AFC South.
South. So we're now jumping into the South. Okay. So because no one's clinched the South
Correct.
yet.
Yep.
Yeah. So the Colts can clinch it if they win and Tennessee lose.
So the Colts have the Jaguars.
Yes. And the Colts of Jaguars should
Win, and the Titans have the Texans. Should win.
So,
So,
which
so
means
that puts them both on 11 and 5.
yeah, but the Texans would win.
Have
in
the
that
win.
case.
Have
Yes.
the tiebreaker. Cheers.
Yeah.
Spit it out, Peps.
So the Colts clinch the South if they win and the Tennessee lose. Colts can clinch a playoff berth if they win and Baltimore lose, if they win and Cleveland lose, and if they win and Miami lose. So for Miami, they have Buffalo. So Miami clinches a playoff berth if they win, if Baltimore loses, or if Cleveland loses, or if Indy loses. So if those three
So the
teams
Dolphins
lose, they could make it in,
Dolphins at home, you'd think.
but they need to win to guarantee it. So again, they're on 10 and 5.
So you're saying they need to win and those other results?
No. So if
They win, they're in.
they win, they're in.
They're in.
And if they're
If they lose, they need all three of those teams to lose.
yes. Because if either one of those teams wins, then they're in.
Okay.
So
that's hard
it's
then.
10 and 6 versus
Hard
11
then
and 5.
for Miami, yeah.
So for Tennessee, then they've, like you said, have Houston, so they can clinch the South if they win, or if Indianapolis loses. Tennessee's can get a playoff berth, of course, if they win. But and the other options are if Baltimore loses and Miami loses. Yes. So I think in that case, if the Colts win, they're out. Based on that.
Yes. Okay. So the teams,
AFC.
the only teams that are home in the AFC are the Chiefs, Bills, and Steelers.
Yes.
Yep.
And then there is obviously a whole range of situations that can happen, as we've just discussed. Any predictions? Anyone want to?
So hard to say because every single one of those 10 and 5 teams could finish 11 and 5.
Yes. Yep. They all could. And and it's the Colts that would miss out, being 11 and 5.
Yes.
So the Titans play the Texans. We said they should win. The Colts play the Jaguars. They should win. That gets both those AFC South teams on 11 and 5. The games that are probably a little bit more interesting, Dolphins and Bills. So the Bills have already wrapped up their division. The Dolphins can't catch them.
No.
They don't have anything to gain by finishing 13 and 3. They can't be the number 1 seed. Maybe in the second half there, the Bills might say, okay, we take the foot off a little bit. Josh Allen's going to sit. It's not must win for the Bills, but it is must win for Miami.
Because they can't, of course, get the first round.
They
bye.
Can't.
The first round bye has been clinched by Kansas City.
Yeah, Kansas City are 14 and 1. The Bills are 12 and 3.
Can't catch it.
That's done. That's done. The Bills can't finish first in the AFC. So for me, that kind of makes me think, maybe the Dolphins have a chance there against the Bills. The Ravens played the Bengals. The Ravens have been heating up. They've been really heating up the last 4 or 5 games. I'd be really, really disappointed in them as a neutral viewer if they lose this game. Should win, should clinch.
You'd hate to see them in a situation where they think that they can win, so they don't play as hard as they could.
Yeah, I guess, but
You could see them
you don't
throwing the
underestimate-
game, but-
I don't think you underestimate the Bengals. They've obviously coming off a week beating,
Yeah, 2 hot wins. Like
beating
they're on the trot.
Pittsburgh. Yeah, you can't underestimate them, but based on talent, they should win that game.
100%, yeah.
They should win this game.
The Cleveland Browns play the Pittsburgh Steelers without Big Ben.
Are they coming off a loss to the Jets as well?
That was 2 weeks ago. No, that was this week. They've just lost to the Jets. They might have the poor, long-suffering people of Cleveland. After the Browns played one of the epic games against Baltimore on Monday Night Football a few weeks ago, they dropped this game against the Jets. I think they beat the Giants in between that. This Jets loss could really, really kill them. It could really kill them.
Hopefully it kicks them in the bum and they come out firing against the
Hopefully,
Steelers.
I've said on
They
this
they should beat a Mason Rudolph-led Steelers. After what Mason Rudolph-led Steelers did last year,
nothing.
they should win this game.
I've said on this podcast before, I want to see the Cleveland Browns in the playoffs for the people of Cleveland. For the people of Cleveland. If I've got a prediction for this week, it's that the Cleveland Browns miss out on the playoffs. that they miss out. The Colts should put away the Jags.
Yeah.
The Ravens should put away the Bengals. The Titans should put away the Texans. It's going to come down for mine to this Miami Dolphins, Buffalo Bills game and this Cleveland Browns, Pittsburgh Steelers game. I think it's down to those two for that last spot. I'm going to say sorry, Cleveland. That's what I'm going to say. That's my bold prediction.
Yeah,
I'd love to be proved wrong. I'd also like to see the Miami Dolphins playing playoff football. They haven't done that for a long time. Two are there.
I think Fitzpatrick's on COVID as well, so I think he's going to miss this week.
Oh, really?
Yes,
But Tua's good to go?
Tua's good to go.
Yeah.
But they if in that game where they beat the Raiders, they switched them out.
Yeah.
In the last quarter because they wanted
And there was
a bit
the-
more aggression and
The face mask ball.
Yes.
Okay, we're happy with AFC East?
Yep. Well, that's AFC. We're done there.
Happy with AFC. Apologies.
So NFC. So Green Bay have clinched the North. The Saints have clinched the South, and the Seahawks have clinched the West. So in the would be the South, wouldn't it? Tampa Bay have clinched a playoff berth.
Yep.
So they've clinched
So it doesn't matter what happens. Tampa Bay's in the playoffs.
In the playoffs,
Yeah. So
I'm happy with that.
Go Bucks.
Yeah, they've made it in. So
Jimmy the Chinaman, obviously a big Tampa Bay Buccaneers fan. He's rocking the Tampa Bay Bucks hat. Happy to see them there. Any thoughts,
Very much so.
Jimmy? Getting Brady.
They were hot last week, so
Yeah.
need to keep it going.
Just got to keep it going.
Gronk was actually unreal last week.
Gronk smash.
Yeah. Yeah. So
He's really come on the second half of this season, hasn't he?
Yeah, he has been good.
Getting out of party shape and back into football shape.
That's it.
There's not too much difference between them.
Not too much. And yeah, Brown's been picking up. Evans been going good.
Yeah.
Goodwin.
That offense is scary.
Yeah, just always worried about the secondary with the Bucks. So hopefully they can pull through. Yeah.
So then the next game, this is probably the most important one, is the Cards versus the Rams. So the Cards can clinch a playoff berth if they win. Or there's they have to win. They have to win to get a playoff berth. I'm not going to worry about it. They have to tie in Cincinnati and Chicago lose.
Yep.
So Chicago Bears are versing the Packers. So Chicago can clinch a playoff berth if they win or if Arizona loses.
Okay. Yep.
So then in the East, hold on, let me skip the East. We'll come back to this is out of order, but anyway, skip the East because the East is East. So the Green Bay Packers, the Packers can clinch a first round bye if they win or if the Hawks lose. So the Rams can clinch a playoff berth with a win or with a Bears loss. So Bears are still in the hunt.
Okay.
So the Saints, of course.
So the Rams got a double chance there.
Yes.
The Packers will want to put away the Bears here.
Yep.
To get the first round bye.
Yeah, and then the Rams have got the tiebreaker against the Cardinals, according to that.
Yes.
So I don't want to jinx the Los Angeles Rams fans. That loss against the Jets may not prove to kill them. They might be okay because the Packers will want to beat the Chicago Bears and tie up that number 1 seed.
But if it does, that means the Jets have killed 2 teams' playoff potential.
Heartbreaking.
That's crazy.
Wouldn't have said that a couple of weeks ago.
No.
All right, so the Saints can clinch a first-round bye with a win, a Green Bay loss, and a Seahawks win. That's the only way they can get a first-round bye.
Not going to happen. You wouldn't think.
No.
Not exactly how that's going to happen. They, of course, are playing the Panthers, so they should beat them.
Should, but then obviously a lot needs to happen for them to win that number 1 seed.
Yeah.
It's not impossible, but can happen.
So the Seahawks have got the Niners. So the Seahawk. Oh my God! Seattle Seahawks can clinch the first round bye if they win. Green Bay loses, and then New Orleans Saints lose as well.
Yeah.
Yep.
Again, highly unlikely that the Saints and Packers both lose those games.
So we're saying Green Bay's got that first round bye.
They win. They've got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they always play the Bears games. Always pretty competitive.
Yep.
It's at Chicago.
Should be at Chicago, I believe.
It doesn't matter either way. It's probably going to be cold.
Cold as shit. Yeah. But I don't. Maybe we'll channel the cricket. You know, they got the win-loss percentage thing. I'm going to say the Packers are 80% chance of being the number 1 seed here in the NFC. And then the Saints and Seahawks 10% each.
Yeah.
All right. So let's now talk about the East. So
the shit show that is the NFC East.
So we're only talking about
the worst division in football ever.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't surprise. I think a couple of years ago they were in the exact same situation they are now. But yes, if a team that could,
there's a possibility if we'll see. So whoever wins the NFC East has to be 7-9. So that's happened before. That's happened before.
Or 6, 9, and 1.
We're fucking off ties. Too much can happen. So the team that wins the NFC East is going to be 7-9, and there's probably going to be a team that misses out from the AFC at 11-5 or 10-6. So yeah, that's the way it works with divisions. But you got to win your division.
It's kind of crazy that
unfair. It's unfair.
Like 2 teams that'll finish 11-5 may miss out, or even 3. In the AFC, and then you've got 3 teams on close to 6 and 9 playing off to possibly sneak in. They will most likely get smoked in the first round. But you never know. Maybe
the Giants going to win the Super Bowl from 6-10. Eli's coming out of retirement. Tyree's catching it on his head.
All right, so
run us through it, Sean.
Run us through it. So Dallas are playing the Giants, so 6-9 and 5-10. Mm-hmm. Dallas can clinch if they win, and Washington loses. Mm-hmm. So then let me just scroll and find the other ones. So the Giants can clinch if they win, and Washington loses.
Mm-hmm. So they must own the tie break against the football team.
Correct.
I nearly called them that other disgusting name.
So the football team, Washington, are 6-9. They play the Eagles. Mm-hmm. They clinch if they win.
Yep.
So they clinch.
That's it. Yeah.
Yep.
So the football team's got the power here in the NFC East.
Yes. Yep.
They win, they're in.
Yes.
Win, they're in.
How do you reckon they'll go against Philly though?
Well, Philly with Jalen Hurts have looked like a slightly
depends who plays quarterback.
Slightly better side. Yeah. Do we know?
Yeah.
Is it going?
Because it's not. Definitely not Haskins.
Definitely not Haskins. So
I think Alex Smith.
It's probably Alex Smith.
Let's have a quick look.
Who's the other guy that shared snaps with Haskins just this last week? Because it's not Kyle Allen because he's gone.
No, a second ago.
It started with S. His last name started with S.
It's an absolute carousel.
Yeah.
Yep.
No quick updates here to say who's playing.
So on the depth chart, we've got Alex Smith as questionable starter. Mm-hmm. Taylor Henicky, sorry, is second string. Stephen Mortez is third.
So I think that Taylor Henicky had some snaps. Yeah.
So Alex Smith, like you said, questionable. He did get a limited practice in, so he could.
Jeez, that's not the preparation you want going into a must-win game. Is who the fuck's going to play quarterback? Yeah. Oh man.
Well,
to be honest,
for them, I kind of say this as you're winning the opportunity to then get smoked in the first round of the playoffs.
So that'll be this. but they won't. They don't be the 7th seed. They get the 4th seed.
Yes. Yeah. So
Which is bullshit.
so if they're the 4th, who do they
probably
play?
get the Bucks.
They play 5.
They probably get the Bucks.
so
Yeah,
they get
5.
Bucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So hopefully Tampa Bay just punishes whichever of these shit teams gets in.
Oh, I can actually see it though. If Washington wins this, their front 7. Brady's been struggling all year with pressure.
Yeah.
They'll just get it after him, and he'll have a shocking game, and they'll somehow win this to move on to the next round.
That's so unfair. Please don't let that happen, football gods. Okay.
So the rest of week 7 doesn't matter except for they're the games to know about. I think that'll probably do us for NFL for this week.
Beautiful.
We might.
Well, that was nearly 2 hours between the cricket and the NFL. To be fair, it's heating. Like, it's a really nice time to be talking about the NFL.
Yeah.
And, it's January 2. We're in Australia. We drink beer. There's double headers of Big Bash.
There's a lot of cricket
Test
going.
cricket on against India.
Yeah.
That's all I want to. Not all I want to talk about, but I'd love talking about these two sports at this time of the year.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.